Hi, welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to install Ubuntu on a virtual machine. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, before we begin, let's search for VirtualBox. So just type here VirtualBox and it should be the first link over here. So Oracle VM VirtualBox. Click on the link and scroll down and you'll see a big blue button here, download VirtualBox 6.1. Click on the button and it will bring you to this page. So there's a list of platform packages here. So if you're on Windows, you can download the Windows host. If you're on Mac, you can download the OS X host. If you're on Linux, you can download the Linux distribution. I'm on Windows, so I'm downloading the Windows host. So it's downloading here. It will take a while, so I'll come back to you when it's done. So once you've downloaded the VirtualBox installation file, just launch it and then you'll see this page here. Just click on next and you'll see the list of applications that will be installed. I'm going to leave it as a default. Just click on next. And the same thing here, I'm going to click on next. And just take note that when installing VirtualBox, it may interfere with your internet activities. So just take note of that. So click yes to install. And if you want to review, you can click on back. I'm going to click on install. So it will take a while. So I'll come back to you once it's done. So the installation is done. So let's click finish and launch VirtualBox. So once you've installed VirtualBox, you'll see this screen here. Let's click on the new button and name your virtual machine. I'm going to call it Ubuntu VM. And this is the installation path. The type is Linux and the version is Ubuntu 64-bit. Let's click on next. And we'll define the memory size here. It defaults to 1 GB and I think this is fine for now. We can increase it later if we want to. Let's click on next. And we need to create the hard disk now. So create a hard disk. And I'm going to select a VDI, VirtualBox disk image. I'm going to click on next. And whether it's dynamically allocated or fixed size. So when you create a new hard drive, it will ask for a size that says 10 gigs. If you select fixed size, it will reserve 10 gigs of your storage space for your virtual machine. If it's dynamically allocated, it only uses as much space as it needs to, up to 10 gigs. So usually most people will use the dynamically allocated hard disk. So I'm going to click on next. And this is the path for the hard drive. We can just leave it as a default. And the size. So take note, once you input the size here, you cannot change the hard drive size. So give some time to think about it. So I'm just going to leave it at 10 gigs for now because this is not my main virtual machine. So I'm going to click on next and create. So this is the default installation here. So let's go on settings and we'll go to advanced. Click on shared clipboard, use bidirectional, drag and drop bidirectional. This will allow us to drag and drop files and copy paste text files between your host machine and your virtual machine. So we'll look at description. This description, nothing here. We can go to system, so we can change the RAM size if we want to. We can increase the number of processors here. So if you have a lot of processors, you can increase it to, let's say, 2 or 4 CPUs. The acceleration here is nothing to change here. Display, if you're using Ubuntu, like what I'm using, we can increase it to 128 gigs, and you can also enable the 3D acceleration. Remote display and recording, I just leave it off for default. So the storage, this is the Ubuntu hard drive here, which we just created, which is 10 gigs. So it's currently using 2 megabytes. You can also indicate as a solid state drive if you want to emulate a SSD storage. The audio, I will allow audio output and input as well, as I may do some recordings here. The network for now is a NAT and it's good enough for now. I'll explain this when we need to. The serial ports, we can leave it off by default. The USB, it depends on what do you have. We have a USB 3.0, I'm going to use USB 3.0 here. Chat folders, that means you can create folders on your host machine, which you can share between your guest machine and your host machine. And the user interface here, I will just leave it on as the default. So click on OK. So that's done. Next, you need to download the Ubuntu installation ISO. So let's get on to it. So let's go back to the browser here. So I'm going to search for Ubuntu, and it should be the first link over here, Ubuntu. So you can choose what you want to, the preferences, and you just go to the menu bar at the top, click on download, and select Ubuntu desktop. Now there's the 20.04.4 LTS, which is the long-term support, and you have the 21.10 latest version. So if you want stability, I will recommend 20.04.4. If you want the latest features, you might want to consider 21.10. So for this video, I'm going to install the LTS long-term support version. So let's click on download, and the download should start automatically. So let's give it a moment. Okay, so it will take a while because it's about 3 gigs. So I'll come back to you when it's done. Once you've downloaded the Ubuntu ISO, go back to your VirtualBox, click on the virtual machine and click on Settings. Now go to the storage category here and click on Empty and click on the CD-ROM logo here. Now go to the Choose a Disk File and go to the path where you downloaded the ISO. In my case, it was the desktop folder. So just click on the ISO, click on Open, and it's done. So click on OK, and we can now start the virtual machine. Let's click on Start. So once you've launched your Ubuntu virtual machine, you'll come to this screen here. You can also close the notifications that appears at the top. Okay, so we can either try or install Ubuntu. In our case, we are going to install Ubuntu. Click on Install. And you can select your keyboard layout. I'm going to use the default English US. So continue. So you can choose whether you want the normal installation, which includes the web browser, office software, games and media players, or just the minimal installation. I'm going for the minimal installation. And you can also choose whether to download updates while installing Ubuntu. I would rather not. So I can install Ubuntu first and update it later. You might want to consider installing third-party software for Wi-Fi and graphics. I'm just going to click on Yes. So click on Continue. So now it asks whether we want to erase the disk or do something else. In our case, it's a clean installation on a virtual machine. So we can just click on Erase Disk. We can also choose select advanced features, for example, like encrypted hard drive, but we are not going to do that in this case. So just click on Erase Disk and install Ubuntu and click Install Now. And you'll look at the changes to your hard drive partition. So just click on Continue if you agree to them. Okay, so next we'll ask where you are. I'm currently in London, so click on Continue. And my name, so I'm just going to put Junior Dev here. You can put whatever name you want. The computer's name is the name that will appear in the network. In this case, I'm just going to put as Ubuntu VM. So the username will be Junior Dev. And password, I'm just going to choose a simple password. Okay, but make sure that you use a proper password here. You can also choose to log in automatically. And if you are connecting to an Active Directory, you can click on Use Active Directory here. For in our case, we are not going to use it. So just click on Continue. And the installation will begin. So it will take a while. So I'll come back to you when it's done. Once the installation is done, you will see this dialog box here. So you can click on Restart Now. So once all of that is done, you'll notice that the screen is a little bit small here. So what we can do is we can go to Devices menu at the top, click on that, and click on Insert Guest Edition CD Image. So once that's done, it will give a pop-up menu. Do you want to install the intended software? And click on Run. And put your password. And press Return. So now click on Power Off and Restart. So once you've restarted your virtual machine, you'll notice that the screen size is now bigger and it fills up the size of your main monitor. So next, what you can do is you can update your packages. So click on your Windows key or your super key and type terminal and hit enter. And at the terminal here, you can key in the following command: sudo apt update -y and sudo apt upgrade -y. And key in your password, and it will start updating your release. So that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching up to this point. If it's beneficial to you, please click on the like and subscribe button. And if you have any questions, feel free to list it down in the comments below. And if you like to see more videos like this, let me know what you like to see in the comment section below as well. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.